world cheaters. The mission's getting kind of dangerous, as you can see. So make sure everybody's alert. In fact, turn to the person next to you right now and say, "Wake up!" All right, recruits, we're in the thick of it. There's a battle going on. Where there's a battle, there's an enemy. You guys remember what the enemy looks like? You gotta remember what the enemy looks like or you won't know what the enemy is. The enemy is anything that, what? Distracts us from trusting and obeying God. That's right, some of you guys remember, good job. That's the enemy, guys and gals. Anything that distracts us from trusting and obeying God. All right, come on, guys, we gotta go help.
Sprig of parsley! Sprig of parsley! Come in, sprig of parsley!
Melonhead, is that you, Melonhead?
Report!
Well, Major, the battle is getting worse. Come to find out, we don't have control over the circumstances in our life.
I knew it! Sometimes I put 2 socks in the dryer, and only one comes out.
Not exactly what I meant, but...
Frank, it's Bruce. Listen, I'm finishing up those socks, and I forgot, is it knit 1, purl 2, or knit 2, purl 1?
Have you heard in from Agent Jose?
You mean Joseph, sir. Joseph is the son of Jacob, and his life story is told in the Old Testament. I have more data on the file. Computer, authorize the Joseph file.
Enter security access code.
Major, quickly, your access code.
She sells seashells by the seashore.
Systems accessed. Access denied.
Major! Run! She's gonna blow!
Caution. Warning. Overload. System overload. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We've discovered the account of an Old Testament world changer. His name is Joseph. Joseph experienced incredibly difficult circumstances in his life, yet he never failed to trust God. Joseph had a key life quality that made him an excellent world changer. You see, no matter what happened in Joseph's life, whenever life was at its worst, he expected God to be at his best. Let me give you an example from Joseph's life. Let's pick up in Joseph's life when he's in jail. Now, I know what you're thinking. Joseph's in jail, he must be a criminal. But that's not how it was at all. Check this out. Somebody said something against Joseph, wasn't true. Joseph gets thrown in jail. Now, imagine that. Somebody says something about you. It's not true. You get thrown in jail. Now, I don't know about you, but if that were me, I'd get mad. I'd get sad. Not Joseph. Remember Joseph's key quality? Joseph always expected God to be at his best, even when life was at its worst. All right, guys and gals, here's Joseph's story, Johnny style. Pharaoh has a dream. A former jailmate of Joseph remembers, hey, Joseph can interpret dreams. Pharaoh pulls Joseph out of jail. God tells Joseph what the Pharaoh's dream means. Egypt's going to have plenty of food for 7 years, then no food for 7 years. Pharaoh hires Joseph as second in command and puts him in charge of the food drive that saves Egypt from utter ruin. Woo! Did you get all that? Okay, I'm a little out of breath from that one, so watch it again and I'll be right with you.
Pharaoh has a dream. A former jailmate of Joseph remembers, hey, Joseph can interpret dreams. Pharaoh pulls Joseph out of jail. God tells Joseph what the Pharaoh's dream means. Egypt's going to have plenty of food for 7 years, then no food for 7 years. Pharaoh hires Joseph as second in command
Joseph always expected God to be at his best when life was at its worst. Now, why is that? Why did Joseph expect God to be at his best when life was at his worst? Here's why. God knows the beginning of our life, and God knows the end of our life. Do that with me. God knows the beginning of our life, and God knows the end of our life, and everything in between. God knows everything that happens in your life, good and bad. When Joseph was sitting in jail, life was at its worst. But Joseph knew that God was aware of his situation. And Joseph was expecting God to bring out something great, even though life was at its worst. Here's what I want you to understand, guys and gals, is that we can't control the circumstances in our life. I mean, bad things are going to happen. And just because bad things happen doesn't mean that God doesn't care. It doesn't mean that God looked away or wasn't paying attention. What it means is that God wants to bring about something great out of something bad. And you know what? Only God can do that.
Memory Max.
All right, guys and gals, pay attention. We haven't got a lot of time. We got to learn this week's Memory Max. Memory Max. Out in the field, kind of dangerous, and we're out here learning the Memory Max. It's kind of exciting. It sounds like we might be in trouble. So quick, here we go. This week's Memory Max is flying over to you from Romans 8. Romans 8:28. Hey, that's great. Romans 8:28. All right, Romans 8:28. Romans 8:28. Yeah, that's great. The Bible verse goes like this. And we know that God causes everything. Let's do that together. And we know that God causes everything to what? To work together. So we're going to go like this. Work together. It's kind of funky, kind of jiggy, kind of, woo, I'm doing Memory Max in the middle of a war zone. And we know that God causes everything to what? Work together. It's pretty good so far. Let's learn the next part. It goes like this. For the good of those who love God. Do that with me. For the good of those who love God and are called. We're going to do a little telephone action. Hello. Ring, ring. Mommy, is that crumpets and tea for snack? Ooh. Let's do that second part from the top. For the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose for them. We're going to kind of get in a superhero pose there. So we're going to go purpose for them. So we're going to bring the hand down on purpose. We're going to bring the hand down on them. Here we go from the top, guys and gals. Let's try it all together. Romans 8:28. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose for them. Romans 8:28. We need to do that again, guys and gals, because it's kind of a long verse. Long verse. So we're going to do it together. Romans 8:28 from the top. Romans 8:28. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose for them. Romans 8:28. From the top, one more time. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. Romans 8:28. Good job! You guys did a great job! Turn to the person next to you and say, incoming!
Compass Point.
Greetings, recruits. Super You here, helping you to become the super you God wants you to be. It's time to learn today's compass point. When life's a mess, expect God's best. Say it with me. When life's a mess, expect God's best. Again. When life's a mess, expect God's best. My super you sensors tell me we have a situation. That was a close one. Life is good once again. All right, world changers. Let's review today's compass point. When life's a mess, expect God's best. Again, when life's a mess, expect God's best. This is Super You, helping you to become the super you God wants you to be.
All right, guys and gals, that's all we got for you this week. But remember, even when life's at its worst, God is going to be at his best. Until next time, this is Johnny, running a crooked line.
Enter voice authorization sample. Enter security access code.
That was a close one. Life is good once again.
Bye.